Hey everyone, I would like to describe in more detail the expectations for your final paper of the course, which is the integrative paper part 2. This paper will be a continuation of your week 4 paper, but will focus on how you would use your theoretical approach for practice with a particular population. So for the first section of the paper, I would like you to identify and describe in detail a population you want to work with in the future. This could be a population that you are already working with, or it could be just one that you kind of aspire to work with and one that you either feel passionately about or just would be interested in working with in the future. So in terms of what a population might mean, it could be a specific diagnosis, a specific issue, a specific area of oppression, etc. Many of you may have already identified this in your initial paper, the part 1 paper, but you can probably reiterate things described in the paper, but just try to build off of it for this paper and provide a bit more detail for the purpose of this paper. So in the second section, you're going to be more specific about intervention. You'll be using the theory or theories identified in paper 1. For the purpose of this paper, you will be more specific about interventions and skills than in paper 1. In paper 1, you were generally identifying key concepts and goals of the theory. For this paper, you are going to be more specific about practical interventions you might use. This will probably be easier if you identified a skills-based intervention, though if you chose a psychodynamic approach, you can identify things such as mirroring, empathy, attunement, etc. I also want you to be clear on how you will plan to use these interventions with your chosen population. So then section 3 will be focused more on research. Here you might do a miniature literature review, which specifically focuses on effectiveness of the chosen theory or practice. For practice, you could find some general studies of the theories, but if you can find one specific to the chosen population, that would be preferred. If you can't find any studies that have been completed, you can simply describe your own basis for use, but please try to be as specific as possible if you do, if you can't find any research. For most of the theories that you guys have chosen, you should be able to find a bit of research here. And then finally, you'll need to describe how you would be effective, how you would evaluate your effectiveness. This might be through treatment plan reviews, for example. That's just one example. There's a lot of ways that you might be able to evaluate effectiveness. Moving on to section 4, this is about social policy constraints. Here you will describe how social or societal factors might impede you and how this might impede upon effectiveness with your chosen population. This could be anything from access to insurance to discrimination, access to transportation, etc. You'll then need to describe how you would work through some of these constraints in order to ensure you are meeting the needs of your clients. This is a very important aspect in practice as we need to be aware of various factors for our clients' functioning. It's very much the core of what we do within social work. So then moving on to the final section of the paper, you're going to provide more evaluation of yourself. So think about yourself as a social worker thus far. How do you want to expand your knowledge? What are some of your professional goals? How are you going to ensure you are effective as a social worker? Think of things from professional development and ongoing education to supervision to self-care strategies. So please view the description and ensure you organize your paper in this way so as to ensure a good flow to the paper. If you do that, please look at the APA manual for tiered headings in APA format. In addition, take note to the fact that you are required to have at least 5 scholarly sources. And please view the rubric before submitting to make sure you hit all the key points. So as usual, please reach out with any questions, and I hope you enjoy writing the paper.